know that sunshine don't feel right when you're inside all day. I wish it was nice out, but it looked like gray skies. I'm drifting, I'm living forever. Swimming by Mac Miller. Mac Miller tragically passed in late of 2018. At the time, I didn't know him, his story, his music, really anything about him. That was until about late 2019 when I started hearing some of the singles off of Swimming, like Hurt Feelings, Self-Care, Come Back to Earth. Those were the big ones. Gave the album first listen, and nothing really hit me except the main singles. Circles ended up being my favorite album of last year. Because of its big impact on me, I decided to order this box set, this vinyl, of Swimming and Circles, and I gave Swimming an even deeper listen, and I was really surprised. Just listen to the way he sounds on this. His flow is perfect. Get it? And Perfecto kind of starts the cycle that Mac talks about the entire album. And the cycle for him starts drowning, pleading for help in this ocean of anxiety and insecurities and drug use, and he feels like he can't get out of it. I think Come Back to Earth is the next step, where even the title means people from the shore are calling him to come back to Earth, join them. Like, leave this ocean grave that you have made for yourself and swim to shore and join us. He even says, I was drowning, but now I'm swimming through stressful waters to relief. He's escaped the most dangerous part of the cycle, and he has finally swum back from the ocean and made it to shore. But he's not out of the woods yet. He admits that he will do anything to get out of his own head. That shows us that he knows that he is his own worst enemy in the end. Even without that, Come Back to Earth is just beautiful. The way that Max sings on this, it's equal parts relaxing and sobering. Parts of the song makes you feel like you're drifting away in the ocean on a summer day, clear skies and nothing in your way. After Come Back to Earth comes Hurt Feelings, which shows Mac gaining confidence after he's made it to shore. It has him rapping pretty traditionally, but the beat is the highlight. It has such a presence to it. It really feels like you're got the weight of the world on top of you and you're struggling to breathe for air. The way he comes into this second verse, the amount of confidence that he has. I think Wings is another hugely important song for this album. After Mac gains confidence in songs like Hurt Feelings and Self-Care, he finds his wings and starts to rise to even higher heights than before. It's a very calming song about Mac overcoming the insecurities drove him to the ocean in the first place. After his friends and family have successfully called him back to Earth, he quickly after goes the other way and heads for the clouds, leaving Earth once again. There's a line on this song about not wanting the walls to close in on him, and I think that really shows where he's at the time. He's feels like the only thing that can stop him is his mind just closing in on him and cutting off all the good feelings that he's having. And that kind of leads into another theme that's suffocation. That's literally everything with this album, from the ocean suffocating by drowning, to the walls closing in on him, to the music video for Self-Care where he's literally buried alive. The first part of Self-Care is kind of like Hurt Feelings. It feels like you've got a lot of weight on top of you, and Mac's kind of complacent. He's okay where he's at. He just kind of thinks that everything will be all right. He'll make it through it, but he doesn't know how. And then the beat switches about halfway through the song, and That's the point where Mac, in the music video, breaks out of his coffin and leaps off of the dirt mound, which symbolizes him gaining his wings and soaring to greater heights. I mean, just listen to this beat change. Jet fuel is the next step after wings, where Mac's gotten rid of his wings and acquired this jet that takes him to even greater heights that he couldn't reach before. I think even higher than the walls that he talked about in Wings. Like those don't even affect him anymore. The song is kind of Mac flexing on everyone. You know, he's in his jet up in the clouds and he feels like he can't do anything wrong. Feels on top of the world. I think this jet that Mac is on in this song is out of his control. I don't think he has any control over where this thing's going or how long he'll be up there. He is just kind of along for the ride. This could be him, you know, tripping out on drugs. It could be him tripping out on support from his fans, the amount of money he has, and the amount of arrogance he has at the time. And the outro in this song is just beautiful. It's got a lot of autotune, but I think it works really well. The outro has someone, probably the same people from the intro track, come back to Earth, telling him, hey, it's time, you have to come back to Earth. I think the next song, 2009, is Mac's descent towards wherever. I don't think he truly even knows where he's going. In 2009, he realizes that the water he's been drowning in is just a huge test. Like, he has to overcome it if he wants to reach his full potential. It shows this with the line, you gotta jump in to swim, meaning that he had to get to where he was in Perfecto to get to the heights he was at in Wings and Jet Fuel. Small Worlds is a song I always forget that's on this album. Maybe because it was released as a single before. I'm not really sure. But really the highlight of it for me is the outro, which is just soul crushing. Especially knowing where he was mentally in the creation of this record. Like lines like, 9 times out of 10 I get it wrong. That's why I wrote this song. Told myself to hold on. I can feel my fingers slipping in a motherfucking instant I'll be gone. Like, he's on the way down. He knows he's on the way down, and I think he's starting to realize that he's not heading for land. He's going right back to where he started. And then So It Goes is by far the most important song on the entire album. And while it might not be the most catchy or radio friendly song or playable song, like I don't really know where I'd play So It Goes in a public setting, but it is some powerful stuff. After 2009 and he kind of realizes, hey, this is not heading where I want it to head, he kind of goes into shutdown mode. I think Mac's in denial, and I think he's truly going insane. The instrumental used on the song is perfect for the subject matter. The instrumental has these weird, glitchy sounds coming in, and the synths that kind of overpower the awkward drums at times. It's definitely a song that just becomes greater with the sum of its parts. Like, each part on its own really wouldn't work, but everything together just adds so much weight to the song. And I think that's kind of where Mac is right now. Like, he's kind of a mess of a bunch of different things, but if you put them all together at the right time and use them accordingly, like, they turn into something great. He has lines like, you can have the world in the palm of your hands and you still might drop it, kind of referencing like how he felt like he had the world in the palms of his hands, like on Jet Fuel, and has just completely dropped it and all the way down to the ocean where he's at right now. Mac saying So It Goes is him truly accepting the cycle that he's in, the cycle of drowning, swimming, flying, falling, drowning over and over again. And he's kind of just become insane with it. He's just doing the same thing over and over, and he can't get out of it. During the second verse, he sounds kind of manic, like he can't keep his thoughts straight. He even comes out of nowhere with, "Did I mention I'm fine?" Just totally interrupting his thoughts. And I think he's just trying to convince himself that everything will be okay when he knows it won't. The verse ends with, "My God, I go on and on, just like a circle, I go back where I'm from." He's basically done thinking everything's okay. He's gone past that, and he totally realizes the horror of his situation. He knows he's going to be trapped in this cycle forever, and he doesn't think he can ever get out of it. After the end of that verse, the chorus comes in, and then after that, the synths that have been in the song the whole time just start getting louder and louder and overtake the drums and overtake the glitchy noises, and you just feel like you're ascending. It's really a powerful feeling that only works with this instrumental. Like, I don't think he could have gotten the same emotion across with using words. Eventually the synths fade too, and we're left with the weird glitchy crackling noises that have been throughout the entire song too. With my interpretation of this, I see the fading of the synths as the fading of his life, or at least his life force. Like, he has nothing left in the tank. And I think that he's kind of just drifting out to sea. Like, he has no strength to swim anymore. And that's when the cycle finally ends. He's never going to swim back to shore, and he's never going to fly. Well, he does. Those are kind of the main songs that really impact the story or themes that are brought with this record, but there are some other bangers. Like, What's the Use is just this jazzy, catchy song about finding what matters to you in life and, you know, spending the most time doing that. Like, don't waste your time on this stuff that doesn't matter, that won't impact you, won't help you, that only brings you down. Like, just leave that all behind. Dunno is interesting. The song itself doesn't really do much for me. It's kind of a mid-tier track on this album, but in 2019, Spotify released it as a Spotify single, and it was this piano ballad version, which is just beautiful. I really wish that he took this approach with the song on the album, but I understand why he would choose this sound, because it more fit the production style of this album. But I think the version that's released in 2019 could have easily fit on Circles. The whole album isn't perfect. I think Ladders is just okay. Production doesn't really have the same impact that anything else had. Max still sounds great though. He has inspirational lines about kind of like repeating what's the use, like not wasting your time. There's a line about him building this castle and building up to be the best castle, and then the sea just comes to wash it away. And I think that fits perfectly with the rest of the themes on this album. I think this record is a classic. I think it really is. I think that in 10, 15, 20 years, I'll still be listening to it and still probably uncovering more and more things about it that I didn't know before. Even doing this review, like, my rating for the album was probably a light 9 when I heard it last year with Circles, or when I first heard it on this. But after doing this review, it jumped up to a strong 9. Like, it's almost perfect. If you take conversations off of this, which I think is it's unnecessary. It doesn't need to be here. It's basically a toned down jet fuel. Doesn't really have any place doesn't have the themes that Jet Fuel has, and it's just kind of Mac getting mad at internet bullies, which I guess he's allowed to, but I don't really see how it's really that important. But yeah, if you get rid of that song, this thing's at least a light 10. I'd say the perfect songs on this record are the intro, Come Back to Earth, Hurt Feelings, What's the Use, Perfecto, Self Care, Wings, and then if you want to throw the Spotify single Dunno into the mix, I'd definitely put that under the perfect songs. And I'd also put Jet Fuel, 2009, and So It Goes, the final 3 tracks. And then I'd say Ladders and Conversations are easily the 2 weakest songs on this record. So yeah, I think I've said everything I need to say about this. I definitely recommend it, and I recommend multiple listenings because it probably took me at least 5 to 6 listens to really fully understand what Mac was talking about. I'd say if you're a Kid Cudi fan or a Frank Ocean fan or any number of rappers that delve with kind of deeper subject matters, I think you'll really enjoy this one. You'll get a lot out of it. It's really crazy to me that a whole team of people could be working on this album and not see that Mac was struggling so much. Like, I just feel like everything was so preventable. Like, he was really just putting everything he had in this album. I mean, at least with my interpretation of it, he really predicted his own death with the themes that are on this album and the way that So It Goes ends and the lyrics on that song too. It all just makes me feel gross. I hope other artists look at this and see that their life truly matters and to really protect it, and you're not invincible. You're not Mac Miller and Jet Fuel where nothing can happen to you. Like, you're still a person. You still have weaknesses and flaws, and I think that the album is just about accepting that and kind of living your life the best that you can. You know, spend time with the people and the things that really make you happy. But yeah, with that, definitely a strong 9 out of 10. Recommend it to anyone. So, Swimming, Mac Miller. Go listen to it. No, cut that shit.